love food and bicycles. So yeah, reflections on the final stage, the replicate stage of our 6-month permaculture trial in Western Nile district of northern Uganda, working with a target group of 40, mainly South Sudanese refugees, a few host community members, to introduce permaculture design as a tool, as a methodology for food and income, food and livelihood sort of security. Partnership Sector 39, we're from Wales, from Cymru, working with Norwegian government in Uganda in a partnership project. We want to bring that wonderful vision, potential of abundance and community that permaculture can bring, to enable this shift from from being dependent on food aid to becoming self-reliant for the communities there. Part of what we've realised is that for many of the people, they had really no sense of how to even approach food growing, and just broadcasting seeds on the ground and kind of hoping with no real sense of strategy. So we've taken them through permaculture principles, demonstrating loads of techniques, giving them the tools to educate and communicate these ideas, and then now we're really focusing on how to replicate, how to learn from the demonstration plots and the training gardens and things that we've established, and enabling people to replicate that and create their own community nodes, whatever, hubs for training and demonstration. We've indirectly, with the program, we've reached about 200 people. We're probably many more, actually, sort of informally. A lot of the ideas have spread quite organically. People just kind of been, watching what's been going on. So in the final phase of our training, phase 3, we've really focused on enabling people to develop enterprises, to think about how they can take permaculture into the kind of core of their life and into what they do, but also how that we can sort of establish some demonstration plots and training areas, so that the sort of the hub of the sort of, say, 200 people that we've touched so far can reach out many thousands. Really, what we envisaged is we'd like to find support for a follow-on project for another 2 years, really to be able to kind of take the momentum that we've created and use the trainers and obviously the sort of capacity that we've built, and to really sort of scale that up. And I think that we can, in doing that, change the prevailing sort of methodology of how people approach farming and growing and resource management, and create enough of a case study to ultimately influence development policy, to actually have some really solid, scaled up outputs, if you like, that will help us achieve that. So this is sort of I'm summarising really some of the outputs and reflecting on some of the things that have happened, and looking forward to what we want to happen next. We're seeing a plot of land here, about 2 acres. It's been released by one of the host community members, and the intention is for the group, this is actually in zone 4 in Bidi, is for them to create a functioning permaculture demonstration plot garden at a bigger scale. Because so far what they've done is establish kitchen gardens around the homes and their sort of compounds, and that this now is the next stage really, which is trying to think about how to scale this up a little bit. And that to be able to scale up and for people to be able to collaborate, they're going to need the next level of sort of skills and input and training, which is group skills and dynamics, consensus building, conflict resolution, because we really want to see people collaborate, and we see permaculture sort of as a tool that can create genuine sort of cohesion in communities, that for people who are coming together and learning how to share and manage assets in a way in which they can create a broad community benefit. This is a demonstration garden in zone 5 in Bidi, and this one is in zone 3. I mean, we've The focus really, what we want to see next is we'd like to, in a Margie side, on the East Nile side, we'd like to work with the community members to create a 3 or 4 acre site which can demonstrate into an integrated permaculture approach on a slightly bigger scale. And especially as we develop that site, the services, if you like, will be provided by the sort of emerging enterprises of the participants. So this would create a kind of a permaculture demonstration and learning hub. And over the course of 2 years, we'd like to transfer the ownership of this to a sort of a stakeholder co-op of the members of the people who are active in it. And not, to have something which is wholly independent of Sector 39 or independent of NRC, that exists as a permaculture training and demonstration centre. And that Sector 39 will maintain its involvement by creating, we've had this idea of a permaculture academy for a long time, which is essentially just maintaining the people network. It's not a place, it's a network of the people who we've worked with and who are the capable trainers, and creating career paths and development paths for best people so that they can take their learning and spread it, and we can kind of sort of facilitate that process. So what you're seeing here, just a few photos of us working together and the final days of the project. We're fencing off one of the demonstration plots, one in Zone 3. We're using a very, very simple dead hedge technique, which is basically just using old thorns. We invested in a few bamboo canes to give it a little bit of structure. And we just hope by keeping the goats off, the rest, the garden will really have a good chance to get established. And which we're showing integrated techniques, the very things that we've been talking about. Now, in the final sort of stage of the project is what we wanted to do, what we've challenged the participants to do, is for them to take these ideas and to coordinate them together, and for them to present their vision of what they want to see happen next. So we've come up with this idea of the Margie Permaculture Training Centre. We've helped try to visualise what that might look like. We've got to look at the land and potentially where it could be, and think about all the different steps it would take to bring that together, the groups of the people. Think about the order of activities that would need to establish the key sort of development stages for the land, and obviously something then that would create opportunities. We've seen so much creativity going on. People started to take the permaculture ideas and start to play with them and adapt them to suit their own requirement. We've seen significant yields come out from what they've done. So we know that we can sort of facilitate a behaviour change, and that behaviour change that helps significantly contribute to food security, and also that it's bringing people together to create their own kind of groups and their own initiatives, and so there's a structure here which is starting to happen, which is the cohesion, community cohesion is the thing that I keep getting back to, and how we reach consensus as groups, and how we can then break down complicated tasks, complicated objectives into achievable steps, into smaller tasks, and then actually go about bringing those about, and understanding that as we do that in itself is a learning process and a team building process. So working with these ideas has brought people together. It's been a really, really fascinating process. People are hungry for more as well. I think that we've ignited something in something. We've had a very diverse group of people of different ages and backgrounds and what have you. And that's also been really interesting to see how they managed to come together and start to see a collective vision and sort of collective set of possibilities about how they might start taking definite steps forward to take a much greater degree of control over their food and livelihoods, and we tried to kind of show how the sort of the permaculture ideas and values and ethics at the heart of it is what then binds us together as a group. And if we've got that in common, then we can then say start forming long-term objectives of how we might work together. It's been transformative for the people concerned. Listen to some of the testimonies. We'll try and get as much as the evidence out there as we can. But what has been fascinating to see people really engage with this, and it's inspired them. They've taken it all in their own ways. We've seen them, the members, innovate in all sorts of ways in which we didn't kind of expect. It hasn't just been plain sailing, of course. It's been difficult at times. Sometimes it feels like it's such a big cultural gap that we're not understanding each other, and then the very next day you can suddenly feel a real coming together. So it's been a real journey, and I think it's brought us to the stage now where it's really making us think about where do we want to go next. And I think that scaling things up a little bit, having these training nodes and demonstration nodes in key areas, in building on the momentum that we've created by really strengthening the individual's sort of feeling of belonging and being part of something. Sector 39, NRC, that they're communicating, they're changing their communities, they're becoming teachers, leaders, facilitators in all sorts of different ways. That's really helping people's self-confidence and giving some kind of sort of culture structure, to their work, ambition, and so forth. So it's been an incredible journey. I just and really want to thank NRC for having the vision and for taking a chance, if you like, for allowing us to get in there and to do what we can. And we've done everything we can to get this as far as we can down the road. And the sort of final pictures you're seeing here, the sort of jubilation really of people on completing their course, getting their certificates. And again, this reinforcement. I can't imagine what it must feel like to be a refugee, to have to lose your home, your security, and all of that. But with it also goes your identity. People don't know you. You're suddenly just a stranger. And these kind of achievements, group building, and making people feel like they've accomplished things, and recognising them with the certificates and what have you. It's enormously important, enormously powerful. And again, we really wanted people to feel that they are shaping this process. That they're not sort of just passive recipients of this knowledge. They're on the leading edge, and that as refugees and displaced people, they won't be the last. There'll be many more, sadly, people facing these challenges, and that they have much to contribute and offer to process and to helping other people, to go through the transitions that they themselves have experienced. So, yeah, it's been a wonderful experience. We've built a great team of trainers. We couldn't have done it without our action support teams. They've worked really, really hard. It's been a challenge just to maintain consistency over a long period of time, 6-7 months, at such a distance. But we've managed it, and it's been down to the team. It's been down to the members, NRC, and just the momentum of the project. So let's not lose that. I really, really hope that we can take this forward and find the best ways that we can sort of build on this work. I'm very proud of everybody who's helped us and been part of it, and really, really grateful to just for having the opportunity. So there we go. Really, it's been immense, and it's brought Sector 39 to a different place, where I think now we know we can do a lot more, and we have a lot more to offer.